Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about The Haunting Hour Lights Out. This isn't one of my favorites. Like, I like it, but I just, something about it. Like, I like the premise of it. I think the premise and the setup is great, but it's just the way it was filmed and the way it was acted just didn't seem all that, like, interesting to me. Also, the depiction of Ghost, I don't know, they didn't feel ghost-like to me. And it would have been more interesting if this would have like appeared and disappeared. Also, it would have been better if they looked more ghostly, a little bit like see-through, or maybe a little bit more like deadish, you know what I'm saying? Instead of looking like regular people. It just them looking like regular people, and you know, they just appearing like when the camera turns and then they're there. That didn't feel like scary to me. So in some ways, I kind of feel like they dropped the ball slightly in this episode, and they tried a little too hard to be creepy, but they went so low budget that it just didn't feel like scary to me. And this could have been like really scary if it was more like ghost-like. I remember like Ghostly Stare, that was more creepier than anything because like the ghosts were translucent looking and like they floated and all kind of stuff. But it's just, even in 13 Ghosts, like it felt more like, because those ghosts were like monstrous looking and stuff. But it's just, I don't know. It's just when a ghost is completely solid, it's just weird looking to me. Yeah, that's also a problem I had in 13 Ghosts. They were just so solid looking, but they were more monstrous looking, so that was cool. But still, it was just kind of like weird, you know? But anyway, this entails a group of kids. Teddy, Haley, and Sam. Or Sean. I don't know. Their friend name is something. It don't really matter to me. So they're watching like a ghost hunter show, right? There's tons of those ghost hunter shows. They're all around. They do their trickery and stuff like that, that fool people and get lots of ratings and multiple seasons, you know, like whatever. Anyway, so Teddy, he's watching. Wait, yeah, Teddy. He's the brother of Haley. He's watching and he's not very impressed. He tells his friends, you know, I can do better. And so they're all like, you know, prove it. So they're like, all right, let's do this thing. So he decides he's going to come up with a group called Ghostbusters or something. Ghost something, I forgot. And they're going to make their own little, like, you know, ghost hunting show. And they're going to put it online and all that other stuff. So he gets his dad camera that has night vision. He gets his friend and he gets his sister. The sister, the only reason why she's going is so he doesn't break dad's camera. Because she really doesn't want to do this because she thinks it's dumb. So they find an abandoned asylum. Now the outside of the asylum looks like CGI. And so does the night sky. You can tell it's fake and everything. However, when they go inside, ooh, it looks great. Like they really dressed that place up well. And so like, I don't know if they found an abandoned building or not, but like, I don't think, because this was a pretty like fillery type bottle type episode. So I really don't think they spent the time to like paint over the walls and make them look grungy or paint the floors and make them look grungy. I think they found a legit abandoned building and then they just put like a bunch of papers and dust and other stuff like places to make it look like abandoned. But they did a great job dressing this place. I give them props for that. And so, you know, the kids, they're in the abandoned asylum. So an asylum is basically like a mental institution for like people who have like psychotic breakdowns, who are like mentally disturbed, mentally ill. A lot of prisoners go to those places that are mentally ill because they can't go to prison because they're too mental and stuff. So anyway, they're there and, you know, they're recording, they're walking around, they're pretending to be like, you know, ghost hunter type people. And then they also pretend to make things kind of scary. So they have like a fake mask of like a head and they have it displaying like on a string and he's pretending to be scared and they're all like, dude, this is lame. Like, this doesn't look scary whatsoever. No matter how many takes they take, you know, it's just not scary. So the dude, like Teddy, he agrees and they keep trying harder. And so They go again, and then next thing you know, the bed is like shaking in one of the rooms, and it's his friend underneath trying to shake it. And he's like, "Dude, that's not believable." No matter what, they just can't get it. You know what I'm saying? And Teddy's also very rude. Like this a prick. He's mean to his friends. He's mean to his sister. He's mean to the dead people that died in the asylum and everything. And so as they're walking around, I will give them this. Like I said before, it's creepy and it's eerie, like the whole like abandoned asylum. And what's so great is that they actually have it dark. Not like, you know how like sometimes on TV shows and movies, you're in a dark room, but it's well lit. So you can see like the stars of the show. This one's actually dark, and they actually have to have a flashlight to see and stuff. And that's what makes it great. So it gives you that eerie vibe, you know? So as they're going around, they see like all kind of stuff. Like they see the person who ran the place, Dr. Surgis, and they see all his medical equipment. He has old school, old fashioned surgical equipment, like the scary looking stuff, the big giant like hacksaws, the those pinching things, the knives, like all kind of stuff. Boy, I feel bad for them people back in the day. And so does Haley. Haley's all like, it's terrible how they experimented on people back in the day. And it really is. But you know, this is kind of like one of those, like, it was a bad thing that turned out for the better. Like, I hate saying that, but just think about it like this. Back in them olden days, especially in the really olden days and stuff, they would experiment on any living thing they could. Animals, people, you name it. And it's kind of like if they didn't do that, we wouldn't have all the medical science and know-how we would today. So it's like it's a terrible thing, but a good thing came from it. And that's sad to say, you know what I'm saying? But now we know like so much about medical science, we don't have to like do all that like stuff against people's will. And it's terrible now, you know? So now we have like volunteers and stuff that do it. Or people that you know, when they die, they say, okay, you can take my body for research and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of like if like, I hate saying that, but it's the honest to God truth. If those people never did what they did back in the day, we wouldn't even know majority of the stuff we know now, you know, and having cures and all these like oppressive surgeries to help people, and you know, and it's just and life is never easy, you know what I'm saying? You got your ups and your downs and stuff, and sometimes some things that turn, and it's just kind of like wars back in the day. When we see how terrible wars and like nukes are, we're like, okay, fine. Try not to have as many wars and try to like do diplomacy and leave the nukes at home and everything, you know? And it's just, it's crazy. It's just like, it's sad people had to suffer and die just to make the future like better. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the kids determined that Dr. Surgis like pretty much experimented on tons of people, especially in their heads and stuff. And it's really gruesome and it's really terrible. And then but of course, as they're walking around, this is when all the creepy stuff is happening behind their back and they don't know it. There's shadows walking behind them. There are like wheelchairs moving by themselves and stuff. And it's really creepy. So as they're walking more around, their friend noticed that his batteries keep dying out. And so they think it's nothing, but he tells them, look, ghosts need energy and batteries is a good source of energy. He saw like there has to be tons of ghosts here and stuff. So of course Teddy, he makes fun of them and being his little butt-headed. So they go into like a room and with a bunch of medical records and stuff, and they determine that a lot of people from the asylum died in a fire around a certain time. And then as they look on the little chalkboard, they realize that there's something called lights out at 9 p.m. And they don't understand what's going on. Then next thing you know, the door slams on them and locks. And then the wheelchair starts moving. They can see that. Now they know there's ghosts in the place. They don't know why the ghost locked them. Well, they scared because they think the ghost locked them into the place and it's gonna do something bad to him. Teddy is not gonna find out what it is, so he finds a way to like get the lock open and he runs out. Now the handle's missing, but he's able to like loosen like the lock part and like get out. And he bolts for it. And he leaves the other two behind. What a coward. And so as he's running and everything, he gets like lost because it's like a maze in that asylum. And next thing you know, something strange starts to happen. A gurney starts to follow him. And it's constantly following him no matter where he goes. And so when the kids were in that room, the ghost did appear. Like the old lady in the wheelchair, they can see it. This is the part that gets me. They don't show ghosts appearing and reappearing, which would make it more scarier. They just there. Like the camera goes from one scene and then it goes to completely another, and the ghosts just happen to be there. And it's kind of creepy because they have sad looks on their faces and stuff, and they aren't saying anything, but it's just they don't look like ghosts. They're just regular looking people. But you know, the kids know that they're ghosts and it's freaking them out. So while the gurney is following Teddy and everything, at some point, something grabs him and throws him on the gurney. We don't see what. And then we start seeing the straps on the gurney move by themselves. Then it cuts from that and we see like the Dr. Surges, the ghost man, he's strapping Teddy in. Teddy is freaking out. He is screaming. And then so the other two, they can hear like him screaming and stuff, and they're trying to find him. So they're trying to walk around the asylum, but it's hard and dark, so they use the night vision and stuff. I will say the night vision is a nice touch on this episode. So then they realize something. There's a cuckoo clock in that one room, and it chimes at 9 o'clock, and the clock still works. And they're all kind of like, wait a minute, 9 o'clock, that's when lights out supposed to be. So Haley and their friend determined that the ghost didn't try to trap them in the asylum to keep them there to hurt them. The ghost trapped them in that room to protect them, because all the ghosts were in that room at 9 p.m. They can see them just like walking about. And they're all like, wait a minute, these are the people that died and everything from the fire. And they determined that the ghosts, when they was alive, they stayed in that room and was willing to die at the fire because they was terrified of Dr. Surges. Why? Because if you wasn't in your room at 9 p.m. and the lights weren't turned out and you were caught like wandering the halls, he would experiment on you and stuff like that. So he was like one of those really evil doctors and everything. And so like at one point you see Dr. Surges wag his finger at like Teddy, and that's just like really humorous. That took me out the mood, but I wanted him to be more like scary, you know. So then you have like Haley and the friend, they're like running around, and all you see is night vision, and they're running and running, and then Haley runs in front of the camera, and there's a door there, and she's all like, let my brother go. And then she like knocks and she like kicks open the door and stuff, and she's looking for like her brother, and he's crouched down in the corner talking about lights out, lights out, lights out. And it's a spooky, creepy feeling and stuff, especially when you see his eyes look white because of the night vision and stuff. But then it's kind of like, and then, okay, so then it goes from that, and then it goes from these group of kids watching them on TV talking about, oh, that's lame, I could do something better than that. So this episode kind of falls flat. Like, how did he escape Dr. Surges and was able to like go in the corner and roll up in the ball and like cry his little eyes out, you know? They don't explain that. Then it's like, okay, the video footage that they had, they did upload that to the internet so people could watch it. That's why the kids were not impressed. But the only footage they really had was like wheelchairs moving around and probably the ghost, maybe the ghost showed up on camera, I don't know. But they don't have the footage of Dr. Surges, and they don't have the footage of like the brother on the gurney and stuff like that, and the gurney moving around. So why would they even upload that on like the internet and stuff? So it's just kind of like, I don't know, this episode, it was ambitious, but it just kind of falls flat. They try a little too hard to be scary, but they didn't try like hard enough, you know? That wasn't that spooky. All right, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.